Hi, this is Erin Marcus, founder and CEO of Conquer Your Business and host of the Ready Yet podcast. And in my episode for the Business Growth Architect Show, I will share with you one of my absolute favorite marketing strategies. I sum it up this way. If you're going to be in the room, be at the front of the room. It talks all about how to create a credential and at the same time, leverage what you're doing to reach more people so you can grow your audience and grow your business.
Hello, fabulous person. Beate Gillette here, the Growth Architect. Welcome back to the Business Growth Architect Show, where we bring you cutting-edge business strategies from some of the world's most successful entrepreneurs, business transformation experts, and visionaries who want to help you to scale your impact. Look for one tangible strategy that you can take back and implement right away. And now back to our guest. And welcome. This is your host, Beate Gillette, and this is another episode of the Business Growth Architect Show. Today, I am talking to, I feel like my marketing soulmate, right?
Seriously.
So we just had the absolute best conversation ever about marketing. And so I want to share with you in this probably very lively episode, everything about Erin. Erin, welcome. I'm so glad we're back together.
Absolutely. This is the beginning of all sorts of things. I'm so excited to have met you and gotta love people. When you meet those like-minded people, right? Anything is possible.
Absolutely. For somebody who is not familiar with you, why don't you tell them who you are and what you do and why do we need to know about you?
Why do we need to know it? That's a great question. So Erin Marcus, I'm the founder and CEO of Conquer Your Business. I help entrepreneurs get out of reaction mode. Get out of reaction mode so that they can be in charge of their business, in charge of their income, in charge of their lives. And I'll say, why is that so important as opposed to why am I so important? Through multiple levels of my career, whether it was when I was in corporate, whether it was when I owned my last business working with families with aging parents, what I have found time and time again is too many people do not realize that they are allowed to be in charge of their lives, and they would rather go broke and suffer heartache than have a difficult conversation or do things that make them uncomfortable. And the downside of that is that the bad things still happen because we're human, right? The human experience is messy. But when they happen, you're not prepared for them and you have limited options. And it just doesn't have to be that way. And it doesn't have to be that scary.
I really enjoy what you just said, because this is a lot of the themes that I'm myself going around is what prohibits people from really taking the action, even though that the state that they're in is so incredibly difficult. And that brings me to my question. So you're a marketing expert.
Yes.
And I've seen it, and you probably know this a lot more intimate than I do. But so much has changed in marketing over the last, 2-3 years. So coming at this from a strategic perspective, talk to us about what do we need to know about marketing and marketing strategies? What does that even mean to you?
So what's interesting is like everything's changed and nothing has changed. Right? I mean, people ask me all the time when COVID hit, what do we do now? When the world opened up and everyone got sick anyway, what do we do now? And the questions that you ask yourself are still the same. What do I do? Who do I help? What do I do for them? The difference now is like good news, bad news. The good news is it's easier than ever to reach your audience. The bad news is it's just a lot noisier out there. So what that means is that the questions that we've always asked ourselves in marketing, what do I do? What's the outcome? Who do I help? Truthfully, you have to be bigger, louder, faster, stronger, better at delivering those messages to break through the noise.
That's very powerful. While we are on this, so a marketing strategy in social media marketing, right? And I have to ask this question because people mistake likes with all kinds of other things.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that. When we talk about marketing, are we talking about social media marketing, like posting?
No,
Like,
gosh, no, it's so one of the big, I say it this way, and well, if we're going to talk about social media, I'll start you where I start my clients with the understanding, because people really don't realize it, that for most of us, until you have a ton of money and a ton of data, social media is better used as a credential than a sales funnel. It's a credential. The weird thing about it, and I'm of an age where this just is weird to me. You go out and meet, I'll speak on stage, right? I will speak on stage in front of several hundred people, and they'll see me in person. And the first thing they do is check out my social media in order to see, am I who I just said that I am? Like, it's just the thing that we do now. Oh my gosh, is she a real live boy or is she Pinocchio? And it's, forget the interpersonal the experiences that we just had together. So you need to have your social media dialed in. I used to say you didn't need that. Truthfully, I got to six figures, 2 different companies without good social media, but that was pre-pandemic.
I think that's really an important piece, and again, I want to make sure that our audience really takes this home. We are talking about strategies. So we are very deliberate in what we do. So if we don't need it, we don't waste our time on it. If it doesn't produce results, we don't waste our time on it. But social media has, and I find the same thing, become a little bit of a weird thing. Like you have to look amazing. And it's just what it looks like. It's not even what it does. It's not even about on whether it's converting. It's not even on whether you have interaction. It just has to look like you know what the heck you're doing.
Well, and so here's the good news on that. It's a version of what websites were. Back when websites became a thing, and yes, I'm old enough to have been in the business since websites, just saying, you had to have a nice looking website in order for people to believe your status, whatever status you were choosing to position yourself at. And now your social media reinforces your brand. If you're using the same 2 pictures, here's a horrible truth. If you're using the same 2 pictures for every single thing you've ever done on social media, people are going to think she doesn't have the money to get new pictures. She's not really up to date. He's not on top of things. Is that fair? Absolutely not. Maybe you're just really camera shy. Totally understand. But it is true. So what we used to have to do to make our websites look professional, now my favorite website hack, if you're in the middle of a transition, if you don't want to spend a ton of money on the website of your dreams, my favorite website hack, take your URL, throw up a page that says under construction, visit me on LinkedIn, and connect it to your LinkedIn profile. Because right now, your social media profiles are actually more important than your website.
That is really, really powerful. So now as a marketing expert, right? So I know that there's a gazillion different strategies out there, but let's talk about what is your personal favorite marketing strategy that you want to share with our audience?
My personal favorite, I describe it this way. If you're going to be in the room, be at the front of the room. If you're going to be in the room, be at the front of the room. So what do I mean by that, and why is it important? What I mean by that is, if I'm going to be at a networking group and get involved in a networking group, I need to be in the front of the room, whether that's on the board that gives me more visibility, whether that's as a speaker, whether that's as a sponsor, whether that's as a host. What is something you can do within that room that implies a credential? This is why it leverages everything. It leverages your efforts. It's an inherent credential. If I'm going to be speaking, if I'm going to be in the room, I want to be on the stage in the room. Not every single time. I totally understand it. But you have to leverage your efforts, because what that does, same thing for social media. If I'm going to post, do some lives. If I'm going to teach, do some lives and some training. What are the ways that I can simultaneously, and this is the difference between having a business and scaling a business, is your ability to leverage everything, whether it's your team, whether it's your money, whether it's your marketing. So when you look at your efforts and say, what could I do to take what I'm doing already and leverage it into a credential that gets me in front of more people? Those differences between just doing the thing and leveraging the thing as a credential and a networking tool, that's the difference literally between 6 and 7 figures.
So I'm going to make an assumption here. So this is really the difference, if I hear you right, and correct me if I'm not, is that instead of just taking my efforts and just randomly just throwing stuff out and seeing what sticks, you want me to do less and you want me to do it really good.
Absolutely. You know, I call it stop with the random acts of marketing, stop with the random acts of business, and instead pick the thing that is most exciting for you, that you can get your energy behind, that you enjoy doing, that you have some skill at, and learn how to get so much better at it. Remember how what we said, you have to break through the noise. You have to learn how to break through your noise, you know, the noise that's in your own. Now, here's the good news. Most people don't break through the noise. It doesn't actually take nearly as much of what you think it takes to break through to the next level, because most people won't do the work. And I say that from a place of empathy, not a place of judgment. Because
so what do you say? So I'm going to jump in here, because what I'm hearing is that, and I see this a lot, and maybe this is exactly what the problem is that the idea of having the virtual assistant who does the social media management, right? It's like, here's a bunch of random quotes. Here's 5 images of me reading a random book that I'm not really reading, but it's looking really good on the image.
Me and my cup of coffee. Yes.
Here's my cup of coffee. Here's me in an oversized sweater with a glass of Cabernet in my fabulous kitchen that may or may not be mine, where I'm telling you all these things. So is this making it look good on social media, right? Because I think that's the misconception. The idea is to make myself look good on social media, but that's not marketing.
That's
if
not
I'm
marketing.
hearing you right. Okay, so
No.
so tell me, so what can we tell the audience to really get that in their head, that you drinking wine is not marketing?
So it's a bit. It's not the antithesis of marketing, right? It's So I look at it in several different ways. Number one, there's some truth to the fact that you need to show up as the person your ideal client believes can solve their problem. So there is a visual to that, 100%. They're really, but it starts there. It doesn't stop there. The second piece is, to me, the litmus test in my entire business, whether it's marketing, whether it's sales, my sales conversations, every single thing I do, am I being of service? Am I adding value? Am I being of service? Am I adding value? I think there's too many people out there who think they're supposed to look really good, but they want you to pay for everything you might ever get from them. I would rather give my best stuff away, because my approach is, oh my God, if she gives me that for free, what will she do if I pay her?
Yeah, there's a lot to be said. And I think that, what we just nailed in this piece of the conversation is that, yes, it is okay to have a glass of Cabernet, and I say this very provocatively, because I see a lot of, especially young women or younger women that are in the business coaching space, to fall into that trap where they all look the exact same way.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to show that you have a lifestyle and that you have work-life balance, but you're saying that most everybody stops short and that they leave it at this window dressing, that there has to be the extra step to say, well, but now what does that mean for you? That's always the shift.
Yes.
Where I think people do stop is like, well, here's what's happening to me. but you still have to flip it over and connect it with the audience.
And connect it for the audience, because if the only thing you're giving me is how great you are or how grateful you are, it doesn't have to be bad, right? We don't have to come from a place. It could be 100% positive. It doesn't have to be a negative connotation. But if the only thing you're doing is showing me how grateful you are or how lucky you are, so those are both, very commendable feels. But if that's all you're showing me, I don't know how to apply that to me. It doesn't mean you'll have no business, because maybe you will connect with someone who's like, oh my God, I want to have what she has. But if you really want to grow your business and move to the next level, and this is truthfully, I get on my little soapbox for a second, this was something that kept me out of the coaching world for longer than I'd like to admit. I had met too many coaches who got really good at parroting a list of what you should do or what they think it should look like, but didn't know how to help apply it to somebody's unique situation, their unique business, their unique goals. There's a big piece of how missing behind what most people, when we talk, to use your words, which I think were perfect, they're stopping short. When you stop short, you're missing the how. You're not showing people how it's possible for them. So you're missing your opportunity actually to help more people.
Well, because that's the work. That's the actual physical work, right? I think that you hit on such a powerful point especially in our industry. And that point is that if I believe that I can read, Napoleon Hill, I read, I Think and Grow Rich by Waddles. I read all that stuff. I listen to all the gurus. It's very easy to come up with a list of 10 things, gratitude, mindset, spiritual practice. I mean, you can wake us up at 3:00 in the morning and we can give you that list. In our sleep, we've heard it so many times.
Right.
But the challenge, what I'm hearing you, is to say, if you are really in business to produce results, there is that step. So tell us about the how step. So what do you do in your strategies where then somebody comes to you, you obviously have to tell them what to do. And then how do you help them to get to that implementation? How? Because I know that's your specialty.
That's my specialty. And here's where it might be an answer that surprises you. I listen. I don't tell them what to do. I'll back up. I do tell them what to do.
I was just going to say, I don't know if I buy that 100%.
I do tell them what to do. And then I listen and I watch their response. Because some people, when I tell them what to do, are going to be really, really excited in the moment. But I can tell on their face, they're excited about the outcome, but they didn't hear the steps. They missed something. Or they're excited because they think they're supposed to be excited. Because here's the thing I know about me. I get really excited. And when I get excited, it's a little contagious. So I have to be careful that somebody's not borrowing my energy in the moment and then doesn't have it with them later. Totally get it. Because you don't have to do my version of it. You don't have to be Erin. You don't have to be willing to get on big stages. You don't have to be, I can't even say willing to look so different because I'm 5 feet tall and dark. So it's, right, I'm the opposite anyway. I don't have any control of that. But I listen to their questions. I listen to what they're not telling me so that I can ask a better question. So that I can say, okay, they like the outcome we're talking about, but that strategy is too big of a jump from where they are now, right? I need them to get a little bit of a win. So podcasting is a perfect example of this. So many people want to start a podcast. I want a podcast. I want a podcast. Totally get it. I have a podcast. You have a podcast. Clearly, we agree with the strategy. But here's the other thing I know. 90% of podcasts have like 5 episodes. Like people don't understand how hard this is, how consistent it is, how much work it takes. So they want the outcome, but they don't really understand the strategy. okay, knowing what I know about my client, if that's going to overwhelm them, where can I start them? I can start them by teaching them how to be a good guest, how to leverage being a guest on a podcast. That's a great place to start. It still puts me in the front of the room. I don't have to own the room to be in the front of the room. It's
they call it borrowing other people's audiences, which we of course absolutely love.
You have to do that.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. This is Beate, the Growth Architect. I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you so much for your time. Have you ever wondered why your business is not growing as quickly as you would like it to be? Well, you may have a business growth blocker. And if you'd like to find out what that business growth blocker is, go and take our brand new quiz at growthblockerquiz.com. And in only a few minutes, you're not just going to find out what that blocker is, but also what to do about it. Again, go to growthblockerquiz.com. And now back to the show. I really love this. And I want to make sure I point this out because this is so critical to take away, is that there's two pieces to this. Number one, if you are the person who is the coach, the expert, the consultant, and you knowledge vomit on your client, and it's like you give them everything all at once, they're going to be completely overwhelmed. You don't see them for another 2 years, and they say, well, she was okay, but some really didn't click for me. And then you said, so when I do give them the steps, I need to, as the person that they're coming to, the authority, the expert, I need to pause and say, if my goal is really to make this stick, what do I need to give them in what format and size so they can digest these pieces? Is that correct?
100%. And this is the brutal truth of it that I had to learn. The word vomiting, the throwing up of all the things that I know you need to do, absent of paying attention to your responsiveness to it, makes it about me instead of about you. Here, let me show you how much I know.
I see.
It took it's not arrogance, it's insecurity. It's the insecurity. Here, let me prove to you that I know so much, that I'm your person. Again, that's about me. It doesn't have to come from a bad place, but it's still about me.
That is so powerful. I mean, it is so true. And I will be honest, I run in the same trap because you feel, especially those of us who have adversity in their background, that we still have to prove that if we are, brilliant enough, if we know enough, if we can dazzle other people, that we now have finally established our value. I mean, that's what I am working on. Right? Yeah, all the time. And you have to you have to recognize that. And it's interesting, I was watching the Netflix documentary with Tony Robbins, A Date with Destiny, which just absolutely blew my mind. And I think what I took away from this, aside, oh my God, the guy really knows what he's doing. But it is this desire to pause and listen and to really connect the dots and get to the absolute truth of what's really going on.
So what I've learned is, if I really want to be of service, because most of us, again, go in a business to help people. If I really want to be of service, that means I have to deliver in the way the client needs, not the way I want to. Now, here's where this goes back to our marketing strategy. It doesn't mean, the good news about the right marketing strategy is, if your marketing is all about the outcome and the results, which it should be, as opposed to being about your process, which nobody cares about, your marketing will still bring you the volume you're looking for. Just slow down your process. You'll actually retain your clients because you'll create better relationships with them. So to put that hopefully in cohesive language, your marketing strategies are about the outcomes you provide that the prospect wants from you, the outcome. The place we get to when we word vomit and come from a place of scarcity and insecurity is when we are going on and on and on about our processes and how much, and then I'm going to show you how to do this, and then I'm going to show you how to do this, and then I'm going to show you. Nobody cares. They don't care about your process until they've agreed that you are part of their solution. So what we're talking about actually goes really well hand in hand. Market the outcomes, trickle the how so that they know you have it, but save your how to do it into smaller chunks once they've agreed that yes, you are very likely their solution. And it kind of prevents the problem. It prevents the word vomiting because the outcomes, if you just kind of litmus test your marketing, is this outcome based? Is this outcome based? Is this outcome based? And if the answer is no, don't say that. Say something else.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, math. It's if before you do calculus, you're gonna have to get them in first grade and do 1 + 1 is 2. So it's the same thing. You know all this stuff, but that would be absolutely 100% overwhelming them. Erin, so what is this all about for you? So why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do? Two things. We'll go two things. Number one, one of my personal life goals. I absolutely believe when the water goes up, all boats rise, that living my best life and making a ton of money helps me and it helps others, right? Across the board. So number one, I want to donate $1 million to wildlife rescue. I volunteer every week. It's one of my points. I actually have a foundation that I'm launching in a couple of months to help serve this better. So my personal drive is that. And what I absolutely believe by getting old and jaded is that change happens from the ground up, not the top down. We need more money in the hands of grassroots people who are willing to do the work. I won't even get to the point where I'll argue which is right and which is wrong by whatever you support. I just know that change happens from the bottom up, not the top down. And I want more people in control of their lives because I've seen the difference of what happens when you're stuck in reaction mode and you're letting people who are not vested in you end up determining what gets to happen for you.
So powerful. So very, very powerful. I think there is this, abundance mentality that there's enough for everyone. I think it's easy to say that. Then when you are in, especially in our business, and we have so many colleagues who's just crushing it, right? To not be jealous, to be supportive, to believe that you have a right for your own spot and that abundance is yours. All you have to do is claim it. There's a lot of mental growth necessary for, I think, especially today as we experiencing so much disharmony, and it puts so much pressure on people that have that spiritual mindset and that understanding to really get to that level of service, right? While all of this is going on, while others are crushing it and you're not quite there. So what are we going to tell these people, and where can they find you and learn more about how you can help them to get to where they want to go?
So what are we going to tell these people? My two big rules. Number one, don't give up. Don't give up. It's not easy. It's also not fixable. I think too many of us are trying to fix our mindset, or for me personally is more tangible, fix my calendar. I kept getting overbooked and I was getting all aggravated at myself. It's not fixable. It's an ongoing process. I don't have to fix my mindset. My mindset's not broken. I just have to continually improve it. It's it's a journey. It's going to always be part of the work. I don't fix it and then I'm done. So don't give up, because the changes you need to make in order to get to where you want to be are not fixable. They're ongoing. They're always going to be ongoing. So embrace that journey and look at it that way. And my second thing is, don't settle. Don't settle. When did it not become okay to want what you want? Like, when did that get beaten out of us? And it's probably in grade school when we had to, behave ourselves in order for the world.
You can't have a pony, okay? You're not getting a pony for your 6th birthday.
Right. And I understand that we have to do this. I don't have children, but we have to do this to children in order for the world to function. I get that. Mom has to be at work on time. I had to put pants on to go to nursery school. I get it. But the downside is that we think we start settling. We start settling, and don't wait. Don't settle. How can you bring what you want into your world now? You don't have to wait and you don't have to settle, but you do have to do the work.
I think so too. I've been listening to a podcast yesterday, and it was all about that. It is this, I think it's the arranging with finding it okay with where you are, because the rest is so difficult, that you say, you get so used to surviving that you say, well, if I make 100, if I make 150, that's not bad. It's more than most people are making. Most people that are employed wish they would have 6-figure jobs. And then I go, well, so I'm justifying this because it is more than other people make. It's more than my parents made. I can, if I can stay here, I'm good. And this motion of protection always goes down, and the motion of growth always goes up. So the minute you stop growth and you start protecting, you're already starting.
Right, because there is no standstill. There is no such thing as standing still.
Yeah, I like that what you said, that it's a continuous improvement. And so you do something and that fails and it sucks. Well, then you're going to do something else and you're going to figure it out. And either it doesn't work at all because you didn't make it about them, or you need to fix, a couple of the tweaks. I always give this example when I was working a lot with photographers and creative people. When I used the word make more money, they would not respond. But when I said find more clients, everybody's like, I want to find more clients. It's the same thing, but not to them. So small changes make a huge impact. Erin, where can we send people to get some of your brilliance?
So let's do this for folks, because we're talking about marketing strategy, and I love how you just ended. So it's perfect. It's tweaks. Most people just need tweaks, because we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We don't want to negate everything that's been done. We just need a few tweaks. So let's do this. I love doing this. 20 minutes, 20-minute marketing audit. Tell me what you're doing. We'll find the tweaks that'll make a difference for you and your efforts. It's marketingaudit.conqueryourbusiness.com. marketingaudit.conqueryourbusiness.com. Get some time on my calendar and let's just talk about the 1 or 2 tweaks that can seriously make all the difference for people.
Thank you so much. It's very generous. So we'll have that in the show notes. So I suggest you take Erin up on that extremely generous offer, because time with you, I'm sure, is rather
at a premium these days.
at a premium these days. We were talking about on just how rapidly you're growing your empire, and so you are an impressive colleague. So thank you so much for doing this. So there you have it, Erin Marcus on the call today with me about marketing. I thank you all so much for listening, and until next time. And Erin, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And that's it for us today. Thank you for listening and watching the Business Growth Architect Show. I enjoyed having you here. And for accountability, just take one of the strategies that you have heard, one thing that you can implement in your business immediately. Please leave comments. Don't forget to like and share this show. And if you have any questions about business, please put them in the comments. We are here for you. We're here to support you and help you to grow, build, and scale your own business. For more advice, please check out our website in the show notes below. Thank you again. This is Beate Gillette, the Growth Architect, and goodbye.